Connecting with Pets, a Furever Vets podcast.
It's time for podcast episode number 5 of the Connecting with Pets Furever Vets podcast. Today, we are talking about how we are involved in the community. I'm your host, Shelly, and I have Emma, who is here today to talk with us a little bit more about how Furever Vets is overall involved with the surrounding community. So welcome, Emma.
Hello. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for being here. So to give our viewers a little bit of a background knowledge of what you do with Furever Vets, can you kind of explain what your job role is here?
Yes, so such a great question for many people. So my job role is actually new to us, starting at the beginning of this year, but I am our Director of Culture and Development. So what that does, actually a lot under one title. So obviously the development. So think of training, of course, hiring people with the right passion for us and being able to train them properly so they have that confidence they need to help our community. Also development, making sure there's always opportunities to grow, always opportunities to learn more, because there definitely are both of those in this field. But then a big side of that too is that culture aspect. So culture is something that makes us remember why we come to work every single day. So making sure that across all of our clinics that at the end of the day, we're walking away and we're saying, I'm happy with what I do, I feel fulfilled, and I want to continue to give back.
No, those are great. And I will say, Emma has incorporated so many incredible things behind the scenes here at Furever Vets with our staff members to make it a positive, fun-filled work environment. And we'll talk a little bit more as we get into this conversation. So Emma is a great person that works with our marketing team, not only to help us when we do either promotions with the community, but also events. Since we are in the holiday season, we have decided to work with the London Sanctuary, and that kind of goes with the first question that we have, and that is how we select a rescue every year to work with November and December to help raise awareness, proceeds, and donations. Now, we selected the London Sanctuary because we have run into them at a couple of events. They do great work behind the scenes. They're based out of Baker County here, and it was a perfect fit. We like to look for organizations that have not had as much opportunity to be spotlighted within our community. So the London Sanctuary is the one that we decided to work with, like I've stated, and we just started promoting on social media. We're collecting donation items, and, last year we worked with Camp Critter. The year before that, I believe it was Ayla's Acres. The year before that, I believe, was First Sisters. I would have to think a little bit further back to think which one was before that, but we really like to highlight ones, and it's really nice to give back when you're able to visit those, people in the community themselves.
Yes, exactly. So I have definitely noticed that, especially in the winter time, we really like to focus on more of an animal side of the community and giving back. But as I always say to, for example, new hires or just individuals who are within our organization, I always tell them, there's a person for every animal, or at least behind every animal. So with that, part of who we are is we don't want to just, obviously have that direct impact on the animals. We want to have that impact on the people too. So supporting our community goes beyond the animals. So as I was saying, every winter, I think we definitely like to focus on an animal-based rescue, like you were saying, for those November, December promotions where we can give back to maybe a rescue that hasn't been as highlighted in our community. But during other times of the year, so for example, look at summer, so back to school season. About a year ago or a couple years ago, we actually started doing back to school donation drives for local schools in Jacksonville. So a couple years ago, our first one, we were able to collect, I think it was like 550 backpacks. And thousands of supplies. Many. Yeah, so boxes and boxes of supplies. I think it was definitely over 50 backpacks, but a lot of backpacks too. We were lucky enough to get the support from some even like community legislative individuals who were able to help make some of the donations towards us, and the rest were just collected by our incredible locations, putting their passion into it for these kids. So again, these are the kids who, they're going to go to school. We want them to understand it's important to perform well in school, and then use that to follow your passion. So maybe these are individuals who in the future could be giving back to veterinary medicine, or maybe they're individuals who won't be in veterinary medicine, but with their education now that they've had and the compassion they've been shown by other people, they'll pass it on to others. And again, yes, even animals too. So with that, that is kind of the influence we want to have. We want to be able to demonstrate compassion for people that may not have been given the opportunities to experience that compassion, so that they perpetuate it within the community. And that's really at the root of it all. So like I was saying, so we definitely in the summer, we do those back to school drives. So doing lots of school collections. This year I was actually able to donate it to a school who is for kiddos who might have some learning disabilities or need a little bit of extra help with their schoolwork, or maybe have a difficult home life and weren't performing well in regular schools. So that was very rewarding to drop off and see the teachers' faces light up, because I don't think they get a lot of those donations and they're often overlooked too. But even outside of that, I mean, outside of those donation drives, fundraiser drives, we've had the opportunity to connect to the community in other ways. So I don't know if you remember this, but one of my favorites was Stuffed Animal Exam Day.
Yes. we did a repeat at a Touch a Truck event outside of our van, but we'll get to that, please.
Yes. So that was one of my favorite events of all time. I was actually inspired by a TikTok. So it was, I can't take credit for it. So it was a clinic, I believe in Canada. And I actually had the opportunity. So when this was in the early stages of development, and I wish I could remember their names. We'll have to look it up and we can credit them later.
We will.
But I actually called their clinic. I cold called them one day and said, hey, I'm this girl in Florida.
I remember
and I just had a question about something I saw, and they're like, yeah, the receptionist asked, she's like, seemed really weirded out. And I was like, so anyways, it looks like you guys did like a stuffed animal exam day. And I was like, did you work that day? Like, I just have a couple questions about how it worked. And so I like cold called this clinic in Canada, because I was like, that is an amazing opportunity to achieve a couple different goals, honestly. So one, our clinics and our staffs get to do something a little bit out of the ordinary, right? Change up their pace and their day. Two, it's, desensitizing kids to that clinical setting. So a lot of kids, the doctors are very scary for them. The veterinary clinic is like a doctor's clinic. Yeah. So even though they're here with their dog, we get kids that come in and they're like, I want to be a vet. And so they come in with every one of their pets for all their visits. But we have kids too who either don't come, or maybe their parents say, oh, I'm taking them to the vet, and they automatically think something's wrong with their pet, or they get nervous around us or shy. We want to destigmatize that a little bit. And same thing for the owners too. So the adults, also a very scary place to be, whether it's financial stress, emotional stress, whatever it is. So again, we just wanted to be able to have an event where people could come in and just have fun with us and have fun in the clinic. Of course, they are welcome to bring real animals too. But what the event is kiddos were able to bring in their own stuffed animals, or they could, quote, adopt one for like $1, and that was donated to Rescue. So they're able to adopt a pet too if they needed one. And we had some amazing veterinarians who donated their time for us. They were all Furever Vets veterinarians, and our technicians as well. And they would, we would put these children into a room with their animal just like we would any normal patient. The technicians would go in, talk to them just like they were any normal patient, go back, relay the information to the doctor. The doctors would come in, do their exams, do whatever treatments they needed. So if they had like a hole, they needed stitches, they needed some vaccines. We had one little girl come in, and she had like a full litter of puppies.
She had the whole carrier case with
yes.
the puppies that came in. Oh yes. She also brought in a flamingo right after that too.
Yes, so she had a whole carrier of puppies. Yeah. A whole carrier of puppies. And we walk in, and I look at her and I go, oh, what's going on with your babies? Like, why are they here today? Are they just vaccines, or are they feeling kind of sick? And she looked at me and she goes, oh, they're sick. And I went, oh, okay. I was like, oh no, like what's wrong with them? And, kids kind of looking too, so I was like, are they sneezing a lot? Are they coughing? And so she went on this whole tangent of all these things that were wrong with them. So of course we had to do a very long workup on all those pets, because that's absolutely what we would do. So again, out of this too, maybe that inspired her, and she went, oh, that's really cool that they wanted to do x-rays because my baby was coughing. So that, and from a science perspective, could inspire them maybe to be interested in the medical field. But also, again, just from their own animal perspective, heaven forbid one of her real life dogs ever needs x-rays or is ever sick. she might be a little bit more comfortable because, hey, I've seen them do x-rays on my stuffed animal doggy, like, so I know what they're going to do with my pet. Or even if she's not there, mom comes home and says, yeah, like, we did this, we took him to the vet, and if the kid asking questions like, oh, do they do x-rays, the kid will know, like, oh, they did that on my stuffed animal. So again, just kind of taking away some of the scariness, for lack of a better word, from the clinic, forming that relationship, but then also too inspiring them from a medical perspective. So that was a lot of fun.
You get to grow up and be little veterinarians. Yes. But this event was so amazing that we, like I mentioned at the beginning, we had a touch-a truck, and we have a Furever Vets van, and it helps us, carry all our supplies from here and there. But we're like, why don't we take that van, take everything out of it, and make it a mini veterinarian for like kids to come in. So we literally had like scrub caps. My favorite thing, it was leftover like surgery checkup cards from the original stuffed
like
animal
a little mobile
day.
Clinic.
And we had little like crash cart things made with plastic stethoscopes and fake shots. But these kids have an imagination, and they all told me like, when I want to grow up, I want to be a veterinarian. So it's great to take like an idea from an event that we had there, then take it somewhere else, and kids look forward to it. And even parents too. Like, this is one of the most incredible trucks that we've seen. We're at a touch-a truck tonight, So it's crazy.
It's hard to compete with those fire engines.
Yeah, right? We don't have a fire engine, but we do have you can be a mini veterinarian here.
Yes, and even, so we have those little kids, right? So it starts when they're young. And also, those kids are the people who, they are kind of the mouthpiece, too, for educating their parents on, oh, well, Fluffy needs his vaccines. This is why. This is what I learned about it. So we had games in the lobby, too, for while they were waiting to go into rooms that kind of educated them on basic things their pets needed. So, like, how to feed their pet, what their role is in exercising their pet, different even, like, household foods and whatever, flowers, whatever they are, that's safe for their pets versus not. So different aspects of pet care like that kids can help educate their parents on and educate other kids on, too. But so you start with the little kids, but then we absolutely, have this whole generation of older kids too, who were probably those little kids at one point saying, oh, I want to be a veterinarian. There's actually a really great program at a local high school.
Okay.
So it's called Beachside High School. So Beachside High School, it is a newer high school, and a lot of high schools in this area are actually starting to develop programs like this. Me personally, I was able to go through a program semi-similar to this, so I understand how these kids' curriculum works. But what it is they basically have different kind of career-based learning opportunities in their high school. So Beachside High School has a veterinary program. I believe they also have like biomedical and all sorts of other programs. But as part of their school day curriculum, these kids who are enrolled in the veterinary program go into what is essentially a mini clinic. So they have a classroom, and it's attached to this mini clinic. They actually have like a daycare play yard too, so they can do daycare boarding. But what these kids are doing is they are essentially in school to learn how to be veterinary assistants. So those are going to be the individuals who are restraining, maybe help with some of the medical treatment, getting history, maybe getting some diagnostic samples, all of that, just depending on what clinic they're in. So they are actually going through the schooling as high schoolers to essentially get their feet into veterinary medicine. So we have been extremely lucky to be on the board of advisors for this program. So what that involves is we have been able to host like over a dozen of their students for internships. So these are, again, high school kids who come. I distribute them through different clinics, and whether it's all summer, they'll report to those clinics, kind of like a normal employee. Okay. Of course, they are unpaid. A lot of them are 15, 16. They have to work certain hours, yes. But that is their first exposure to a clinic. So we have a whole training packet for them specifically. We have worksheets, workbooks, whatever, supplemental learning for them specifically. But they get paired with one of our technicians, and they literally learn how to be a veterinary technician with us.
That's just so cool. Like, I think about that. I wish they had that when I was in high school, you being introduced at an early age and having that exposure, because a lot of people at 15, 16-year-old can't say that they've been inside the behind the scenes of that clinic.
Exactly. And that's something where I, personally connect and feel really passionate about this aspect of what we do, because again, like I said, when I was in high school, I had the chance to be in zoo school. So I went to school at the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium for half the day, both my junior and senior year of high school.
That's so cool.
So when these kids come in, like I was in their shoes. I understand it. And not all of them will end up being veterinarians. Not everybody from my zoo school went into the animal field. But part of being a kid and part of, making those decisions on what you want to do long term is experiencing it. So being able to have that experience in a clinic, or being able to have, different experiences on a day-to-day basis in a clinic, because you can see what parts of this am I passionate about, what parts maybe not my favorite thing right now. Again, they'll change, they'll mature, so things will change. But again, it's just kind of giving them that reassurance of, yeah, this is something I'm really passionate about, and this is something that I do want to pursue once I graduate high school, and I want to keep moving forward with this program.
I think it's great that we're now, as Furever Vets, involved in something like that. Like you said, it's brand new. We've never been able to, say that we're giving back to the community in this way. But it's great to look back as a perspective of how much growth that we've had, but also how much growth that we've had in the community as well. Whether it's a smaller community event or a big event that we're putting on, or working with a nonprofit, or working with a school, or just raising donations for someone for a hurricane relief. It's just great to show that we're here for pets and people, more than just the medical side 7 days a week.
Yes, 100%. And again, so like with these high school kids, we've had summer interns, winter break, fall break, spring break, throughout the school year on the weekends. We've hosted them for field trips and made them kind of take the reins, so.
Field trips are awesome. I know we just recently had one at Central, and they were physically able to come into the emergency side and get to be hands-on with animals, of course, with staff that are trained and volunteered with them, but having that experience, like you said, is something that's going to impact them moving forward while they're actively in school.
Yeah, and I think a really cool really cool part of all these experiences is the way that it empowers our staff members and gets them excited.
It does.
So it really gives them an opportunity to pursue an avenue in terms of, again, obviously giving back to the community. So they will even start coming up with their own ideas of, can we do this fundraiser? I want to do this donation drive, or I want to do this event between clinics. Between clinics, we even have a community where we do different things, like kind of like a non-denominational Secret Santa. And we've done things for Valentine's Day. We've done scavenger hunts, and all the clinics had to work together for it. And we've done, which... I'm from the Midwest, so I did not realize that boo baskets for Halloween was not a thing everywhere. So
see, I think those things became a big thing on TikTok, right?
So, I grew up with it. So, not to say that Midwest did it best and first, but we did. So, but even like boo baskets, leaving boo baskets for each other. So, there's a lot of ideas that, even individuals within our clinic have really come up with themselves and wanted to do in regards to giving back to the community. And again, that encompasses what we're here for. So at the end of the day, whether it's, starting with little kids and inspiring them, working with the older kids, those ages in between, giving back, the supply drives we've talked about, the financial donation drives we've done, even if it's on a day-to-day basis, a client walks in and just being that ear for them and being that support when they felt super stressed out or super unsure on what decisions to make, but they feel like they had that one person in the clinic who was willing to sit there and spend the time with them so that they could sort through everything and talk it all out. Whatever it is, at the heart of it all, it really is just about making a stronger community and inspiring the community to, again, perpetuate that influence.
Yeah. So continue on talking about community events that Furever Vets has either participated in or have hosted ourselves. A couple of the ones that I wanted to highlight is the first ever, when we worked with a nonprofit for November and December, we were able to utilize our Nocatee location for an adoption. So instead of having like an area, somewhere else where they would do like a pop-up, we would have them come over to our location, and, if they had medical questions, we had medical staff, there to answer them. I know for the last event that we had in October, because like I said, we're in the holiday season, for our Trunks and Treats event, we had 2 other nonprofits come out, and they actually had some dogs.
They were so cute.
3 of them got adopted.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, I know. So it was so exciting. I know the London Sanctuary said that 3 of them were also adopted. I need to reach out to the other nonprofit to see if they got anyone. But these community events that either we put up or we go to, and they have these adoptable dogs, the thing is they're putting them out there. You get to see them being highlighted, and you get to actually physically interact with them. One thing that we do with River City Live is we have a segment called Pausing for Pets. And this is an opportunity for nonprofits that we either haven't got the chance to individually work with them, but we spotlight a platform for them to come on the show, bring a dog or a cat in, explain who they are, and, you know, any of the viewers watching live that day can potentially adopt. And they've had great adoption rates that since we've started, and it really touches our heart because, you know, you actually get to see them go through the entire process. Of course, we go on the show and we talk about all the community events or where you can find us and things like that, but I'm curious, do you have any community events that you either participated with us or that you helped participate in that you were excited about?
Now that I think about it, I think actually my first event that I was involved in with Furever Vets, so this would have been like, what, 4 years ago maybe now, about Christmas time.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So it was right after COVID period.
Okay.
So actually what happens is we do have a fun little like get together for all of our staff around the holiday season. Unfortunately with COVID, that wasn't something that was super feasible, but we still wanted to have that, not just team building, but that connectedness with others, that feeling that we got a chance to connect with others. So what my clinic did is we actually were able to, you know, get some donations and able to, I think it was it you? Did you go with me?
We did.
Okay. I think you and I, we went to Costco, didn't we?
We went to a lot of places.
We went to a lot of places.
The coolest part about this is we got to actually hand deliver everything to the schools.
But we went and we bought a bunch of different snacks that were from a specific list. We worked with Blessings in a Backpack, which is a national organization, to be able to send food home with those kids who are in food insecure homes, which you would look at certain areas that we live in, just that our clinics are in, like Nocatee, for example. Actually, several of the schools that we went to and dropped off these bags of basically weekend snacks and weekend dinners and winter break snacks too, were kids in schools like around Ponte Vedra, around Nocatee. So places that you look at on the surface and think, oh, like they're all well off, you know, whatever it may be. That's not the case at all. So we were actually able to go to a handful of schools in the area through Blessings in a Backpack. We
Great
packed,
organization.
Yeah, hundreds of, again, go-home bags that were given to kids in food insecure homes so that they had snacks on their winter break, that they had snacks on the weekends, and they knew that if anything, they had some food available to them while they weren't in school, because that is such a scary time when you're a kid in that home of, you know, a lot of people are looking forward to, yay, no school for a couple weeks, and I can tell you their first thought is, that's the place where I get food. I get fed 3 meals a day, and for some of those kids at some of those schools. So now what do? So just providing that extra comfort and security so they could, you know, actually enjoy their holiday season was something really special we got to do.
Yeah, and that's so crazy how long ago we did that.
Yeah, it was.
And how much we've grown like throughout the community to help support them since then. But that's a great one to talk about. Yes. Another one, I'm trying to think. There's an upcoming event in November, and it's actually Blessing of the Pets.
Yes, we do that every year.
We do it every single year. Even before I was in the position that I'm in now with Furever Vets, they did this. They've been doing it for forever, Furever Vets with them. But it's a place where vendors can, of course, come together and sell items and, you know, have different prizes and giveaways. There's raffle items, but people that have pets that need to find forever homes, it's a great time for them to walk around and for people to interact with them. There might be trainers there. You can ask the trainer questions. There's Furever Vets is there. You can ask us medical questions. But it's just these different events that you can bring your family to, you can bring your pets to, and it's a way to give back to the community or a local nonprofit that they're working with that time. I know they do like a best in show. So if you think your dog has like the best wiggle butt, or if they're the best kisser, or they're the best senior dog, or best pet, or even if you have a cat, like anyone's invited for this. It's an opportunity for you to participate. It's one of our favorite events to go to, and it's a great atmosphere. It's a great time, and you are giving back to the animals at the end of the day, which is great. So overall, this promotion that we do during November and December to help a pet and save another is to understand the importance to our clients to know that they should have their pets on prevention. And do you want to go over a little bit of why that's important?
Yes, absolutely. So when we talk about prevention, there are actually different kinds of prevention, and not just in terms of brands, but we have our heartworm prevention, we have intestinal parasite, fleas, ticks, we have some that do all the above. So unfortunately, we live in Florida. So Florida is a swamp. So a swamp is a breeding ground for mosquitoes. So we do not have the benefit like other states do of maybe having a mosquito-less season. Even if your dog stays inside, even if they go on potty pads or they don't go outside very often, all it takes is one mosquito bite. So if there's ever been mosquitoes in your house, if they go in the car, when you take them to the vet, there can be mosquitoes outside that could bite them. So really having them on that heartworm prevention, which is what mosquitoes transmit, is heartworm, is super important year-round in Florida. So there actually are like about 16 species of mosquitoes in Florida that can transmit heartworm disease. So a lot. Yeah. Outside of that, again, I was sitting in my bed the other day and I saw a tick crawling on my hand.
Oh no.
No idea where it came from in my bed. So ticks, absolutely very rampant as well. A tick does need to be attached to most species for about 24 to 48 hours to transmit disease. A pet who is on any kind of flea and tick control, the tick bites them, they will get infused with medications that will kill it, so the tick is not able to be latched onto for that time period it needs to transmit disease. So super important for us in our area as well.
Definitely.
I mean, again, I find them on me sometimes. Fleas, obviously, a lot of people are familiar with fleas, and then those intestinal parasites too, a lot of which can be transmitted to humans. So we definitely want to keep our pets on heartworm, flea tick, intestinal parasite prevention year-round in Florida, which for our rescues can be pretty hard to do without the support of others. So being able to, hey, help our pets that come in through the clinic, help the rescue pets by giving them a monetary donation, so that, hey, maybe they can get things like prevention for those rescue pets, which then makes them more adoptable. If they don't have to go through heartworm treatment, it's obviously just better for the pet too. Is really, really awesome. So I love that we do that every year.
Yeah, every year a different nonprofit, and that's why we like to do it for 2 months, so it's consistently we're able to, gain more donation traction. But if you go into any Furever Vets location, we do have a box that's located in the reception lobby, and this is to collect any donatable items for the rescue. So gently used blankets and towels. You have extra dog beds, dog toys, dog food, dog crates, even anything that maybe it's been sitting in your house, you're no need for it anymore, or maybe you're able to have the means to go out and donate some items from the store. Just know that all of those items will be given to the London Sanctuary this year before the holiday season. So if they have any pets that are going out to fosters, they'll be able to be given something with them for the dog to be comfortable. But it's a great thing that we were able to do this promotion every year, like you said, and not only to educate our clients, but if you feel good as a consumer putting your pet on prevention, making sure that they're good, but also knowing that half of those proceeds are going to a nonprofit that is in need of it too.
Absolutely. It's like a little Santa paws.
Yes, it's a Santa paws.
Could be Santa paws.
Yes. So, Emma, we've talked a lot about how Furever Vets consistently gives back to the community. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about today?
Yeah, actually, I think one big thing for me is that we are always open to more opportunities to be involved with the community. It is something that I talk to our staff about all the time. I've had staff members come to me with ideas even for starting a food pantry. I was like, what's the word for it? A food pantry. So a food pantry for animals, for example, or being able to collect more dog food that we can then donate to food pantries, because that is an item that's frequently missed and needed for those food pantries. So anything under the sun. So even if it's, we support Christmas conservation at Marineland Dolphin Adventure. It's a little bit farther than us, but we go and decorate a Christmas tree, which is like a kind of a fundraiser, fun event that they do every year. So if it's an organization someone is a part of, or if it's an idea for a community event that someone has, or if it's a need that someone has, maybe they work with an organization saying, hey, we we need help with donations for this, or we host this event, and we need more people like, from your area, things like that. Just reach out to us. So, I mean, just by calling one of our clinics and letting them know that that's a question you have, our clinics are great about passing that along to who it needs to get to, so that we can make sure that we have new opportunities and we can find new ways to be involved and continue to reach different aspects of our community in need. So we are absolutely always open to more relationship with organizations,
Definitely.
new ideas, new organizations, anyone who wants to help.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great way to close this. So thank you again for everyone joining us for podcast episode number 5. We really enjoyed talking about how Furever Vets is involved in the community. Thank you, Emma, for being here. And we will see you guys next week for our 6th episode. See
Number
you then.
6.
Thanks everyone for listening. We are Furever Vets, locally owned and operated in Jacksonville, Florida. Visit us at furevervets.com to find out more about our community events, monthly promotions, and more specifics on animal care. Don't forget to catch our episode next week.